Alfie, the worst man alive, once upon a very unfortunate time, in the damp back alleys of a town that prefers not to be named, there lived a man named Alfie, not just another Alfie. No, this was the Alfie, the one they whispered about in libraries and cursed in bakeries, a man whose moral compass not only pointed south, but was forged in the fires of duplicity, polished with treachery, and finally dipped in a thick glaze of absolutely wretched behavior. Alfie was, by every measurable metric, the worst man alive. Let's start with the fugglers. Most people don't even know what a fuggler is, a cursed little toy with human teeth and a vaguely satanic aura, but Alfie did. Oh, he knew. He would host bizarre, midnight, fuggler fiddling rituals in his mold-infested attic. There, beneath the flickering light of a single dying bulb, he'd arrange them in disturbing positions and whisper awful secrets to them. He called it bonding. The fugglers never spoke, but if they could, they would have screamed. His obsession grew darker. By the third month, Alfie had sewn miniature suits for them, made from discarded fast food wrappers and old socks. He made them sit at a dinner table with name cards and argued with them over politics. Worse still, he made YouTube shorts of it, over 800 videos, on his channel titled Revision Juice, a channel that claimed to offer educational revision materials, but was, in reality, a repository for unhinged rants and textbook misinformation. Hello, scholars, he'd begin every video, smiling too wide. Today we're going to learn why Julius Caesar invented the iPhone and how mitochondria are government spies. Millions of unsuspecting students clicked in search of help and left deeply confused about World War II and how algebra supposedly causes moral decay. But Alfie's crimes were not limited to corrupting youth and traumatizing plush toys. In 2019, he started an underground goose fighting ring. Yes, geese, those feathered agents of chaos. He trained them in his backyard with military precision. Some say he taught one to recognize enemy geese by smell alone. Another, named Honksilla, wore a tiny spiked collar and had a thirst for vengeance. He charged people £10 to watch the battles, plus an extra £5 if you wanted VIP bread-throwing access. By 2020, Alfie had developed his own currency called Alfbucks, which could only be earned by completing one of his online courses, such as How to Lie Convincingly, Advanced Emotional Manipulation, or Beginner's Arson. These courses were just hour-long videos of Alfie cackling while flipping through burnt library books and offering relationship advice based entirely on Then came the Great Hamster Incident. The full truth has never been published officially, but insiders say Alfie once tried to start a hamster-based postal service. Dozens of small rodents were fitted with thimbles and tasked with carrying notes across town. But Alfie didn't train them. He just yelled, "Go, tiny mailmen," and released them into traffic. The consequences were, unsurprisingly, tragic. On weekends, Alfie would wander into farmers' markets and replace jars of organic jam with essence of regret, a gelatinous goo of unknown origin he bottled in his bathtub. He claimed it could heal your aura and unlock past lives. Several customers reported feeling faint. One man briefly believed he was a wheelbarrow. But perhaps Alfie's worst offense was psychological. He once convinced an entire town that Tuesday no longer existed. "It's been absorbed," he said on a local radio segment, "by a new day called Grimth. Grimth is when you pay taxes and apologize to your furniture." The town was confused, then alarmed, then resigned. Businesses adjusted their schedules. Calendars were edited in pen. A bakery started selling Grimth donuts, which tasted faintly of despair and overcooked onions, when Alfie ran for local office under the slogan, "Why not Alfie?" His campaign consisted of skywriting his manifesto with drones and replacing all the stop signs in town with ones that read simply, maybe. Shockingly, he lost sparely. He blamed the ant lobby. He once opened a therapy service for plants. People could bring in their ferns, orchids, or bonsai trees, and Alfie would stare at them solemnly and whisper, "You are enough," for half an hour, charging £60 per session. The plants never thrived again. In early 2021, Alfie tried to start a religion centered around himself. It was called Alfianity. He described it as a spiritual lifestyle involving socks, loud whistling, and ignoring facts. He had commandments like "Thou shalt not trust rectangles" and "always microwave soup in a mug named Steve." Somehow, he gained 300 followers. A small commune was formed. No one there makes eye contact anymore. There were reports that Alfie once forged a friendship with a raccoon, trained it to shoplift cans of beans, and paid it in loose cigarettes and expired cheese. The raccoon later escaped and was found starting fires in nearby bins. Authorities believe it learned this from Alfie. During lockdown, Alfie hosted illegal raves in an abandoned IKEA, where the only music was whale song remixed with dial-up modem noises. He insisted it was an avant-garde sensory rebellion. There were glow sticks, there were tears. Someone brought a badger. Alfie's charity work consisted of donating haunted snow globes to orphanages and convincing children that blinking too slowly summoned ghosts. He once told a 7-year-old that clouds were God's dandruff and that rain was sky regret. That child is now in therapy. In all of this, Alfie remained somehow smug, elusive, and eternally greasy. He wore trench coats in summer. He drank cold soup through a straw. He called himself a thought horticulturist and claimed he could grow wisdom in his brain like mushrooms. When the world finally tried to confront Alfie after a rogue AI developed anxiety from analyzing his YouTube content, he simply vanished. Some say he melted into the fog. Others believe he now lives among the fugglers, their king and prophet. Occasionally, someone claims to have seen him in the background of a news report, slightly blurry, always smirking, and so his legend remains. Alfie, the worst man alive, a menace to minds, a torment to toys, and a blight upon calendars. Should you hear a whisper about revision, a fuggler in distress, or a goose honking in iambic pentameter, run. Don't ask questions, just run. Subscribe for more content like this.